This road disappears under the ocean twice a day. At low tide, this looks like an ordinary road across the coast of France. Cars travel over it, people search the surrounding flats for shellfish, and an island waits at the other end. But the road has a deadline. As the Atlantic tide returns, water begins closing in from both sides. Within hours, every meter of pavement disappears beneath the sea. And if someone waits too long, these strange towers beside the road may become their only refuge. There is no gate capable of holding the ocean back. No tunnel protects the traffic. Every crossing depends on reading the water correctly and respecting a schedule that nature controls. This is the Passage du Gois, a road you can drive only when the ocean allows it. The Passage du Gois lies on France's Atlantic coast, connecting the mainland near Beauvoir-sur-Mer with Noirmoutier Island. The crossing is approximately 4.2 kilometers, or 2.6 miles, long. Yet for much of each day, there appears to be no road here at all. From above, the island seems separated from the continent by open water and broad tidal flats. Today, a permanent bridge provides a dependable route to Noirmoutier, but the Gois remains the island's most remarkable entrance because it transforms the journey itself into an event. Travelers do not choose it because it is the easiest way across. They choose it because few roads on Earth make their connection to the landscape this visible. No prompt received. The Gois is a tidal causeway, a route controlled by the rise and fall of the sea. As Earth rotates and the ocean responds to the gravitational influence of the moon and sun, coastlines experience repeating high and low tides. Here, the shape of the shallow bay produces an especially dramatic transformation. At high tide, the crossing belongs to the ocean. At low tide, the water withdraws far enough to expose the road and the surrounding flats. This cycle normally occurs twice each day, but not at the same clock time. Low tide arrives later from one day to the next, so yesterday's safe crossing time cannot be assumed to work today. Even frequent visitors must consult a new timetable. But the schedule changes every day. The height and timing of the water depend on the tide, weather, wind, and local conditions. That is why crossing the Gois is not simply a matter of arriving in daylight. A sunny afternoon can still be the wrong time, and a road visible in front of you may already be running out of time. Before entering, drivers are expected to check the official tide table and the weather, not merely follow a GPS route. The safe period varies with the tidal coefficient and conditions. Sometimes travelers must remain very close to the moment of low tide. Under suitable conditions, the recommended window can extend to roughly 90 minutes before and 90 minutes after low tide. Large signs at the approaches warn travelers to stop and verify the crossing time. They are easy to understand, but easy to ignore when the pavement ahead looks dry. That appearance is precisely what makes the Gois deceptive. The road can seem calm, while the next tide is already advancing across the bay. That may sound generous, but the ocean does not rise like water filling a bathtub. It advances through channels, spreads across low sections, and can isolate parts of the route before the entire road appears flooded. Fog and strong weather make the crossing even more dangerous. The official advice is simple. If the conditions do not match the safe window, use the modern bridge and leave the Gois for another day. Because once the water begins returning, the countdown is no longer theoretical. At the correct time, the journey feels almost unreal. There are no mountains and no forest enclosing the road, only a vast horizontal landscape of sky, mudflats, shallow pools, and distant water. The island ahead appears to float above the horizon. With little visual clutter,
distance becomes difficult to judge. A vehicle far ahead looks like a tiny moving point, and the refuge beacons appear much closer together than they really are. The crossing feels exposed, peaceful, and slightly unsettling at the same time. The pavement is still marked by the sea. Patches glisten in the light, and sea life occupies the ground only recently uncovered by the tide. Around the route, shellfish gatherers search for clams, cockles, and oysters before the water returns.
Then you notice the unusual structures standing beside the road. 9 elevated refuge beacons are positioned along the passage. They are not viewpoints built for tourists. They exist so that people caught by the rising tide can climb above the water and wait for rescue. The towers reveal the truth about this beautiful crossing. The road may be temporary, but the danger is real.
The transformation begins quietly.
Water fills the lowest channels. Shallow pools connect. Reflections spread across the landscape, and the boundary between land and sea becomes difficult to see. There is no single dramatic wave announcing that time has expired. Instead, dozens of small changes happen together. Water begins moving across the flats, dry patches shrink, and familiar reference points disappear. By the time the danger looks obvious, the safest opportunity to leave may already have passed. Then the first streams cross the pavement. From this point, conditions can deteriorate quickly. A driver who enters too late may find water ahead and behind, with no safe route forward or back. The refuge platforms can keep a person above the tide in an emergency, but they cannot protect a stranded vehicle. Soon, the road markings vanish. The signs appear to stand in open water. Finally, the last strip of pavement disappears, and the Passage du Gois becomes part of the bay again. If you arrived now without knowing the landscape, you might never imagine that a road existed beneath the surface. The Gois was not originally engineered from nothing. Natural currents deposited sand and silt in the bay, gradually creating a route that people learned to cross at low tide. The passage appeared on a map as early as 1701, and the first recorded crossing took place in 1766. For generations, people traveled over this shifting landscape before it resembled the road seen today. Early travelers depended on local knowledge, visible markers, and an understanding of the tides. The same basic rule still applies centuries later. Technology can help predict the crossing, but it cannot change the ocean's schedule. Work to pave the route began in 1935 and was completed near the end of that decade. In 1942, the Gois became a classified site in the Vendée region. Even after a permanent bridge opened to Noirmoutier Island, the old passage remained. The bridge made reaching the island predictable. The Gois preserved something more memorable, a connection still governed by nature. When the sea withdraws, the Gois becomes more than a transport route. The exposed flats provide food and resting areas for birds. Local people arrive to gather shellfish, while oyster farming has long depended on access created by the low tide. Look closely, and the landscape is full of movement. Birds follow the retreating water, people work across the exposed ground, and narrow streams continue draining toward the sea. What first appears empty is actually a living coastal habitat, revealed for only part of the day. For several hours, humans move across the bay. Then the water returns, covering footprints, pavement, and tire marks alike. That repeating cycle is what makes this place extraordinary. The landscape never belongs entirely to the road or entirely to the ocean. It continually changes between the two. And at the far end of the crossing, Noirmoutier Island offers another world of salt marshes, dunes, fishing ports, beaches, and white houses beneath the Atlantic sky. Reaching Noirmoutier through the Gois feels different from crossing an ordinary bridge. The journey makes the island's separation from the mainland impossible to ignore. You do not simply drive from one place to another. You wait for the sea, enter during a narrow opening, and watch the road close behind you. For the people who live here, the tides are not background scenery.
They shape travel, fishing, work, wildlife, and the rhythm of the coast. The island's salt marshes make that relationship even clearer. Seawater is guided into shallow basins. Sunlight and wind help remove the moisture, and salt remains behind. A local tradition built from the same ocean that repeatedly covers the Gois.
And beneath the water, the road waits for its next appearance.
Twice each day, the Passage du Gois performs the same transformation. A route emerges from the Atlantic, connects an island to the continent, and then vanishes as if it had never existed.
It is a road measured not only in kilometers, but in minutes. Would you drive across before the ocean returned? Or would you take the bridge? Tell us in the comments.
And subscribe to Wanderlane Travel as we discover more extraordinary roads, hidden destinations, and journeys that prove the route can be as unforgettable as the place it leads.